What's going on? Welcome to Asian Cosell. So we got one here for K Explorer. And what's dating like for a black woman in South Korea? Street interviews. And let's get to K Explorer. So let's go.
Over 2 years.
As a black woman, have you gone on dates out here in Korea?
Yes, a few. They were eventful a lot of the time, but I actually have a boyfriend and I've been with him for a year and 5 months now.
So you say you've been on dates. How was that experience so far?
There was a lot of like uncomfortable pressure by the guys to like do things, even though I'd like really shown no interest in like that type of sexual stuff. There was like, oh, let's go to a room, let's go do this. But almost every single time I went on a date, like that's what they ended up like wanting. I'd always leave and they'd like get mad. So.
Why do you think they act that way towards black women, or let's say towards you?
It's definitely not just me. I would say black women, honestly, like foreigners in general, but especially black women. I've found that people will be more, I guess, aggressive, and I think it's largely because of like the media representation of black women.
What stereotypes would you say Korean men have of you as a black woman in the dating scene?
That we would immediately be down to like sleep with them. I'm a very introverted person, and the one thing that I hear the most from everyone, but especially from men, is like, wow, you're not at all like how I thought a black person would be. And I'm like, oh, okay. Again, it's all based off of like stereotypes. So they'll expect us to be like loud and like overly sexual, like aggressive and all of that stuff. So
Earlier on, you made mention that you have a boyfriend. So can you walk us through that? Like, how did you guys meet?
we met at my friend's birthday party, and his friend was invited and the friend invited him. So it's like we don't know really the person whose birthday party it was, but like that's where we met.
What would you say are the cultural differences that impact your dating out here, like as a black woman in Korea, both in your current relationship and also in the dates you've been on?
I'll say that Korea is definitely a more like conservative place than the US. And while my boyfriend in Korean standards is like pretty progressive, there are certain things that he just finds like very, very difficult to understand. And like I'll try to explain it and he's like, I don't know.
Can you share like any memory challenges you've had like in the dating scene out here in Korea as a black woman?
Brace yourself because this is gonna.
Okay, so before she gets into this story, yeah, of course, mainstream media, you know, for a lot of these Korean guys, they're just like, they think, yeah, I'm gonna test the sister out, yeah, and what he sees is like, oh yeah, like Cardi B or whatever, like like all the ladies are like they're like most of the sisters are like bitches or something like that, and they're all down to do that. No, no, and especially like a lot of the black women that come to Korea, you know, they really can't, like act the way they act, Most of them just are normal, just, American chicks just hanging out here. Now, is there some sisters that are like all loud and stuff? Yeah, there's some that go, yeah, I can't stand that. My boyfriend is this and that and that. And I've been there. I've been to some of these places like hookah lounges and clubs. I'm like, yeah, okay. But majority they just come here, uh, either teach English, model, and yeah, are quiet about it. But yeah, but that's like the stereotype of these Korean guys, kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, or she's, and of course there's this term, oh she looks good for a black chick. I'm just like, dude, don't say that. She's a good looking chick, okay? Just leave it at that. But oh well, let's continue. And this is a crazy story.
Gonna be one of the craziest things you've ever heard. Oh my God. I was dating this guy 2 years ago. He was really nice. He was like really into sports and like cars and shit. I don't know, whatever. And one of the things he was into most was like solo travel. And he'd like showed me all these photos of like solo trips he'd taken to. And a few months into us dating, he had told me he was going to England. Like it was his first time leaving the country. Again, it was a solo trip. He was like really, really excited. He left. He was texting me like, oh, like I miss you. I wish you were here. And a few days after he left, I was scrolling on TikTok as you do. And you know those like recommendation pages where it's like cafes in Seoul that are good. I had seen a
Oh
TikTok
my.
recommending a spa, and I was like, oh, I wonder if she has any other stuff on her page. So I go on and I'm scrolling and I see a little dance video. I'm like, that tattoo looks awfully familiar. So I click on it and it's the guy that I was with. But the video was like a few months old, so I was like, whatever. So I go up to the top, and the first video, it's like a filter. It's like, oh, what letter does your soulmate's name begin with? And it was his full government name posted 2 hours before. So I was like, obviously shocked. I like sat straight up. I was like, what? So I go through her account. The solo trips, yeah, her birthday, Valentine's Day. And no, because this is the kicker. And they were in England together.
Yeah.
The whole time this man was texting me like, I wish you were with me. He was with his fucking girlfriend. She was a foreigner. Because when we first got together, I'd actually asked him, I was like, are you just like gonna try to be weird because you think I'm easy because I'm a foreigner? And he was like, no, I've never been with a foreigner before. Like, I whatever. I was like, okay, liar.
So what I do is I work online and I travel full time, but I don't have an online business. I'm not a freelancer. I don't do stock trading. I don't do any of that.
Where are you
Damn.
from?
I'm from Ethiopia,
How long have you been in Korea?
like since 2017, so it's like 7 years almost.
Have you dated Korean men, or like have you gone out on dates out here in Korea?
Of course, yes, I did.
And how was like your experience so far?
I would say personally, for my type, they're not my type, to be honest. Like the personally, not the physically, yeah. But personally wise, I'm kind of too independent. So whenever they want like, oh, how are you doing? Pam mogoso, like something like that. Whenever they text me, I'm like, why? I don't answer fast and everything. So that makes them mad. And that's why I don't get along with them a lot.
What would you say are some misconceptions Korean men have of you as a Black woman?
Okay, there's a lot of misconceptions or misperceptions they have. Mostly like they think I'm a singer or that I rap. Usually like when I wear like a street style and then go to club, they think like I'm a rapper. Like I don't know why. So, and whenever I dance, they think I'm a good dancer too. But I'm a shit dancer. Like from all the African people, I'm the shittest one. So like, okay, that's a good
God.
perception though. I like it. So far, I like it.
Would you say, like dating in Korea, if you are to speak the language, you'd find dating like a lot easier compared to like when you don't speak the language?
Absolutely. Like if you speak their language, it gets so much easier. The relationship works so better. To be honest, there's a lot of Korean men that speak good English, like their native language, good English. And it's good if they found one and that speak good English with you, it's perfect too. But most of the Korean men, they don't speak good English, to be honest. So if
No.
you speak their language, they get it, they get excited. And it will be like the relationship gets so intimate. From my experience, I speak their Korean, fully Korean with them. Every day that I went, I was like fully Korean. And sometimes when they want to practice their English, sometimes we just, exchange co-English, like with Korean and then English, mix it.
Konglish.
한국 남자들하고 외국 남자들이랑 차이점이 무엇이라고 생각하시나요?
차이점 많이 있을 거예요. 차이점은 일단 한국 남자들은 그 연락을 많이 해요. 연락 기다리고 그다음에 많이 하는 편이에요. 그래서 전화하거나 아니면 문자 이런 거는 자주 하는 편이라서 그것을 편하고 아니면 좋아하시는 분이시면은 그거 한국 남자랑 잘 사귀실 거예요. 근데 외국 남자들은 약간 독립적인 거라서 나중에 연락하게 그다음에 끝 이따가 연락하거나 이런 거예요. 한국 남자들은 계속 연락할 거예요. 그리고 약간 나 친구들랑 오늘 술 마실 거예요. 이렇게 연락하면은 일단 안 가지 말라고 해요. 왜 술 마셔? 이런 거 가지 마셔. 이런 거 하는데 외국인들은 그런 거 상관없어요. 술 마실 거야? 오케이.
Do you think the country you're from?
Before we go into our country, yeah. Oh yeah, Korean guys. Oh yeah, you need. Hi, what is going on? Hi, what's going on? Or sometimes even like, one time I'm like working, and one of my Korean friends is like, and I'm gonna reply like after. Sorry, one time I was working an online teacher, so I work from like 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. So it's like, and then he texts me like at 10:30. He goes, "It's not polite not to reply." I'm like, dude, I'm working. I'm not trying to like, you know, you know, like stop what I'm doing. I have to work. I can't even like get on my phone. I'm concentrating on the kid. And homeboy's like, yeah, he's no problem. I'm just like, you know what? Go ahead for yourself. I'm just done with this, you know? Yeah, it's crazy here sometimes, you know. Some of the Korean friends, you're just like, dude, or sometimes because they're younger, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just done with it. So yeah, I get why it is. And there's some that, I'm friends with them and then it just falls out of place because I get busy, they get busy. So yeah. So
Plays
let's
an important
continue.
part in the dating scene in Korea.
Definitely. So I'm from Africa. Well, whenever someone asks me, "Where are you from?" and I'm like, I would say like, "Guess where I'm from?" And they expect me to come from like France or America or something like that.
Mhm.
They think it's cool to come from there. But if I say I'm from Africa, they will get like, "Oh, you're okay," and then I don't know what they expect. They just change their perception again. So it will become a different story. If they like you physically, you just okay, I will hang out with you, but then not not for the long term. But then if I said like if I was from America or like a France, they'll be like, oh, I want to get to know her more. They will be like, especially they like America. I don't know why. So I'm from America,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, okay, great. They will ask you to hang out a lot.
Can you share like any
Yeah.
memorable experience you've had like in your dating scene out here in Korea, like as a Black woman?
I'm a model in Korea, and I work with a lot of Korean
Mm.
models. They were
Oh, I
Korean
see.
model, and then we met in the shoot, and then we went on a date, and I thought we were hanging out, but I think it was a date for him. So he asked me, "Do you like? Are you open-minded?" That's the exact question that he had actually. So I was like,
yeah.
what do you mean by that case? Like, I'm open-minded. Of course, I'm open-minded in many cases, but what's the open-minded for you? And then he was like, oh, I wanted to be a friend with benefit. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't like this kind of thing.
Where are you from?
I am from America, Virginia.
And how long have you been in Korea?
I have been in Korea for about 7 years.
Have you gone on dates? Have you dated people in Korea?
Of course, I've had a lot of dates over the course of 7 years. Yeah, there's been a lot of dates. It's not for the weak. That's what I can say for sure. There's been a lot of downs, more downs than ups, but there are some good moments if you stick to it. Yeah.
As a Black woman, how has been your experience, like just dating out here in Korea?
It's been a difficult one, a difficult journey. As you know, this is Korea. Most of the people here are Korean, right? It's a homogenous country.
Mhm.
And only recently, like within the past 5 years, have there been more foreigners here,
Yes.
and especially more Black people here in Korea.
Mhm.
So for that reason, it's still very new to Korean people how to interact with Black
Yeah.
people. And obviously, because this is Korea, we're not the main preference of most people. And if we are a preference, it's usually a fetish, which
Yes.
it's very difficult to navigate that. You don't know who has a fetish and who doesn't, but sometimes it's a little easy to see. But there are people who are interested and want to know more. And at first, that can be fun, and you can feel like, okay, I'm teaching this person that we're just like anybody else, any girl that you could possibly date. We're the same.
Yeah, of course. As I've said in my videos, there's the term like if they want Korean guy wants to see a white girl, what he wants to do with that white girl is he wants to ride the white horse. Now, I haven't heard too much about like, for Black girls. I don't know if they say ride the black horse, but I don't know what the term is anymore. I'm just like been, so to myself, but yeah. So yeah, most of the times it's hard because then like I don't open my mouth right away. So maybe because sometimes some of the sisters be like, oh, Mohe, are you? And then I just like sit there and go, yeah. And then later on in the night, I'm like, yeah, what's going on, man? I'm from the States, man. What's going on? Yeah, I was in Atlanta, Georgia. So I do kind of like, sometimes play the quiet role, like, yo, I don't know nothing. So yeah.
and we still get angry at any bad thing you do. We're nice sometimes, you know. After a while, it gets a little bit old to do the teaching lesson. Most people kind of just want the experience in their life, but they're not in it to win it, essentially. So that's been the hardest part, I would say, about being Black and dating here.
Do you have any preference, like in the type of man you date?
I do have a preference. I do prefer Asian men. However, I'm actually quite open to just any man.
Yeah.
Since I'm here in Korea, it makes sense to date Koreans, obviously. But you know, if I was in America, I'd date essentially anyone who I was interested in. It could be white, Black, you know, Latino, Arabic, whatever.
What are the stereotypes, like men have a view out here?
The stereotype is that I will sleep with them at the first jump, like without whining and dining. I'll just be like, all right, so you're ready to go to the hotel? That's what they kind of think of it as first. And so they're really, really shocked when I say, no, go home.
What is the dating culture out here like in Korea in general?
From what I can see, the dating culture, so you don't really meet anyone on the streets. You don't go to a bar and start talking to someone unless you're like 21, 22, 23, then you can do that. But it's not really the culture these days still. You get introduced by a friend or by a coworker, and you'll do blind dating. And usually I find that after like 1 or 2, 3 dates, Korean people are immediately in a relationship. So they start their relationships really fast. How do I say? They burn bright. They burn bright from the beginning. And some of them last, some of them die quick because they burn bright. And it's very different from, you know, in America, where we usually take more time to get to know someone and see if we like them before dating and committing ourselves, where here the dating is the trial period to see whether you guys work out or not. So it's a little bit very different.
This AI tool.
So so shout out to K Explorer. Yep, and that's usually the dating scene here, like 3 dates, you're in a relationship, and it just goes fast. So and then and of course for the Korean guys, the constant texting goes on. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, well, because I'm just kind of like, if it was me, I'll just be like, yeah, all right, what's up? All right, see you later. And then later that night, what's going on? So but that's how it is, as you see in my background. All right, so if any of you enjoyed any of this content, please give me the HKL special, help the king out, hit the like, subscribe, and comment, and wherever you are, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video.